USGS, and Boeing in the past 4 years. Dr. Song is also a recipient of the NSF Career Award in 2010, and today he's presenting Sensorweb, Web of Sensors, Transforming Information Acquisition and Ambient Intelligence Paradigms. Please welcome Dr. Song.
Okay, it's a great honor to attend this seminar and give a talk about our past work. So some of you probably, I have given this talk also during the PhD seminar course, so maybe it's a bit boring for you. But what I try to do here is I just wanted to give an introduction about what we have done in the past, okay, and what we are heading to in GSU, what we are trying to achieve here. Okay, so first is the Sensorweb. What is Sensorweb? Okay, in our vision, okay, as well as many others in the world, sensor. If we look at the internet, you know, is infrastructure connecting the world, connecting people, so people can exchange information, right? Then Sensorweb is a web of sensors, so it's kind of like sensing the world, okay? So if we look at internet as a circulatory system of the human body, you know, transfer information between here and there, then Sensorweb can be said as a nervous system of our future society. Just kind of like you know, your hand, you can feel hot, okay, feel cold, feel pain, then have certain reaction correspondingly, right? So Sensorweb is like a service system for a human body for the world. So we can sense information and make corrective reactions correspondingly. Okay. So this has already discovered many applications such as environmental monitoring, battlefield surveillance, as well as smart factories, smart transportations, and so on. Okay, just to name a few. Okay. And this technology has been actually, particularly in past 2 or 3 years, has received global attention. Okay, there are initially, you know, in the past 10 years, we as researchers have been working on this, and write a lot of papers, but industry began to evolve in past 2 or 3 years. Okay, so like this is a market report. It's written by some professional market analysis companies. They predict this market is going to fly, you know, basically from this year and following, could potentially exponentially grow. Okay, the rationale is this. First, as I said, it's like it's very natural. If you look at the information technology, it's a natural extension of the internet. Internet is like connecting, you know, people, world. While Sensorweb is like connecting objects. You can sense the environment. You can know, just sit here. You can know what is happening where at what time. Okay, so maybe, for example, you have some experience like waiting on a train for a long time, more than 10 minutes. What if they're nice? There's a certain way you can sense the train is coming. Then you just get out the door and jump on the train without waste the time waiting there, right? All those is potential, you know, Sensorweb will offer such a real-time information for benefit our society. Anyway, this market analysis showing another rationale. They said that, imagine today, computers, you maybe talk about a billion, it's a lot, right? But the sensor device, you really talk about a billion, okay? So the demand is high, and in USA, this said actually in 2003, MIT Technology Review already envisioned this technology is one of the top 10 technology could have potentially changed the world in this century. Okay. Then in 2009, and particularly after that, this economic downturn time, the industry tried to look for what would be the next golden age technology. Okay, just like the internet. So like IBM, we launched the Smart Planet program, and the U.S. government also, you know, put a lot of called economy recovery reinvestment money in investing in these related technologies. Okay. In China, is, as you know, it is a rising power of the globe, and they react even dramatic, particularly in 2009, 2010. There was a government work report. They identified Sensorweb. They also call it Internet of Things, as one of the 5 key national strategic technology investment areas. And then China is a centralized government, so immediately the Department of Education saying that we need to embed this type of technology course into the curriculum, into undergraduate curriculum. And then also immediately in Wuxi, it's a city close to Shanghai, they launched a center called Internet of Things Technology Center in Wuxi. That's the area, if some of you are familiar with China, this is the most prosperous area of China, just like New York, Los Angeles area. So they launched a center there and built some research center there and invest a lot of money as well. Okay. All right. Okay. Anyway, this is a global effort. So what do we have done on this? Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk in the following. First of all, one thing I wanted to clarify. I know some of you here is working on sensor network. Okay, we also work on sensor network. Okay, but why I call it a Sensorweb or Internet of Things? You know, the relationship between sensor network and Sensorweb is just like the relationship between Ethernet and the Internet. Okay, it's just one kind of technology could potentially link the sensors. In our lab's initial vision is, as well as actually we initially work on project about NASA. Their vision sensor is very broad. Any information dynamically changing can contact the sensor, like satellite or even some human reports contact sensors, right? So in the past we have, and there are so many applications. We particularly strategically targeted the 3 areas. One is environmental monitoring, another is for healthcare effectiveness and energy, to improve energy efficiency. We particularly apply this to these 3 areas. Okay, so all right. So far we have done where in the past we particularly focused on environmental monitoring because there is government support on this. And right now, these 2 grants is still being active. One is my career award grant, another is another NSF grant. We try to start how to use sensors to improve healthcare efficiency. Yet another thing we try to do is the smart grid or talk later, right? Okay. To link them together, we also designed the so-called LiveWeb. In the end, I will show a demo. It's a portal, just like the internet have 3W portal to access information, right? We designed a so-called LiveWeb to access the real-time sensor information. Okay. All right, let's first look at it. I'll first introduce our past work on environmental monitoring. Let's see whether. Okay, so in the past, between 2006 to 2009, we have been involved in a NASA project, which is to design a sensor web for volcano monitoring. Okay, this is a joint project with U.S. Geological Survey and Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Okay, I was in Washington State University. Okay, so what this project is doing is we try to demo that a prototype. The ground sensors and the space satellite is also one kind of sensor. So they can working together, link together to enable better hazard monitoring, such as volcano monitoring. Okay, so in the end, we did a real deployment. Okay, putting the sensors inside the volcano and to sense the real-time seismic info and infrasonic information. I'll let you watch a video. Okay. All right. I'll skip this one. And then the volcano hazard. Volcano actually generating a lot of hazards, and it has a lot of information to sense to understand the volcanoes and potentially mitigate the hazards. Even in USA, and then the Rocky Mountain, the whole Rocky Mountain is a volcano. Okay, and some volcano actually is active, like the Mount St. Helens. We did an experiment there. This one is probably many people in USA knows it was blasted in the 1980s, and the ash even covered to New York. Okay, so it's and all those volcanoes actually recently they found that all those volcanoes actually linked together. This could be a super volcano. Okay. All right. Anyway, see, this is the Mount St. Helens before 1980s. After eruption, the whole top has been blasted off like this. It's a very dramatic eruption. Okay. Our speed, and after that, they're active, and you see the environment is also very harsh. So to design a real-world sensor network, put it in such harsh environment, it's totally different. Okay, from design a sensor network in a lab, do some simulations, get some data. It's a totally different story. Okay, I can show you later. Right? This is how they do in the past. To monitor volcano, they didn't send people in there, like in the winter, they need to dig a hole and bury the station there. While we make it nice, because once the mesh network is flexible to deploy, so you can even use helicopter drop in, no one needed to get in there. And provide the real-time information. Okay, this is how it shows that once they set up a station, just 2 days later, it's a blasted the whole thing, away. So it's quite dangerous. Sure.
So you had it on a table, that didn't last long?
Oh, this is not our statement. I'm talking about their existing, their previous instruments before.
Yeah, but I mean, they had it on basically a wood platform, and the next picture you show is sitting on the ground.
Oh, same as this one. This exactly this one.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
So that was before and after a while?
Yeah, this is before and this is after. So it's a dangerous environment, and this volcano isn't so active. And some volcanoes like South America or Japan, they are even more active, and that was just erupted.
Is that in the same location as the volcano came down, or is it moved from Richmond? Well, you don't know.
I don't know. Probably moved, I would say.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. And this is the sensor station we designed. The USGS also called a spider station. They have appeared in many news and newspapers. So this one, you see, we inside this. So to be honest, this station is big like this, okay? But actually, the core is the I-motor tube. It's just like the size of a matchbox, okay? They need to connect to a seismic sensor, ash detector, GPS antenna, as well as infrasonic sensors. Okay. Seismic is to detect the vibrations. Infrasonic is to detect the explosions. Okay. Ash is detecting that ash eruptions. Right. This is very important for preventing some commercial airplane flyby that could get the airplane down. Okay. So naturally, particularly sensor network research will ask, wow, this station is so big, right? But in reality, okay, if you talk about reality, if you put something in a volcano, small cannot stay there because the wind, the gust, we are talking about 120 miles per hour, okay? So if it is too light, it just cannot stay there, it will be blown away, okay? So that's USGS actually designed this for like 3-legged spider so that it can survive in such a harsh environments. Okay, so there is the difference between reality and the lab prototype. Okay, all right. here let me show you this movie so that you can have a better idea about what we are doing in this context.
Here, it started.
Yeah, the voice, you know. So this one I have video. I think already maximum. Already maximum.
It's not going to be good.
Stop. Okay. Now, this movie also in our website. It's my collaborator talking about this whole system.
So that's the
the
deployment
NASA
of the, that was the deployment? of
Yeah,
the-
that was a deployment, actual deployment. The helicopter fly into the volcano crater and drop it to the ground.
Y'all have anything to anchor, like exposure, faults or anything to hold it?
Pardon me?
Y'all have anything to, like exposing faults to hold it in place, or it's just saying?
So it's the scenes look like this. With the helicopter, they will
Right.
draw a string, and they have something like this you can release. So when the station close to the ground, they will release it.
Right.
And they will drop it and stay there.
Okay, so it'll dig in a little bit. It'll dig into the ground a little bit, or is it?
Probably. Not all of them, but some of them, it's the volcano is all solid rock. Very solid rocks inside of the crater. Okay. Here he's talking about the vision for future Sensorweb in beyond the Earth, basically in Mars. Actually, later they really did this using our spider station. They did a demo in the JPL. In the JPL, as you know, they designed the robots to go to Mars, right? So they have a field simulating the Mars environment. They also put those stations there connecting with their space satellite and kind of in simulation way, okay, to demo that the sensor could potentially drop into moons or Mars in the future and got the environmental information back. Okay, all right. And this video you can find on our next homepage if you're interested. And that's where we put up those 15 stations across the mountains and the Helens. To the time, I will skip those details. Here, I just wanted to show you that it's a very harsh environment, okay, very rugged terrain, and here is where our station stays. I took this picture when I take the helicopter fly by using my camera to take this one. So, very dramatic. This is the ice, a glacier. This is a glacier, and some places hot, some places very cold. Wen-Zhan, by the way, Wen-Zhan has been into the volcano crater once, or twice, probably, right? Yeah. And here is showing the weather condition is always harsh. See that this station was deployed in the summer, right? Later when it fly by, eventually like for us, winter, snow eventually covered it. During the
Obviously, the ash detector doesn't work, but does any of the rest of it work when it's buried? Can you still pick up something?
But like this station, yeah, good question. Actually, we have many interesting findings. We have a paper about all the stuff we found. This station was eventually buried by snow, but during the procedure, the bury, we see the data. It become more intermediate. Okay, so it doesn't lose data because this is a hardware limit. We have nothing to do about it. The RF is the signal now.
Do you also record, or do you just transmit?
For this one,
Yeah.
you mean?
Do you have any memory to record on?
Oh yeah. They have.
So you could recover it?
Yeah. Basically, if there's no connectivity, the data will store to flash. Later you can retrieve back. Okay. All right. I will skip a little detail, right? Due to time, I want to talk about something else as well. Okay. And we have learned many hard system lessons. Okay. And My background before I come to WSU, I was also algorithm theory background. Okay, but before that, I worked in industry for 1 year, architect. So I'm lucky I have that industrial experience, so I can handle those system issues. Actually, there are many strange hardware system lessons we learned from this design and deployment. Okay, even some strange MSP 430 problems. Pardon me.
How did you define line problem? That'd be a programming problem.
Oh, since you asked, I can tell you what we found is that we also summarize the lesson in our wiki page. Is that we found MSP 430 when you write let me think of the detail. As you know, the byte alignment issue, right? That's right. That's right. Sorry. This should be. It's okay. Let me think. What's this one is? MSP 430, or I'm going to basically. We found that probably MSP 430, right? When you write a 1 byte, then followed by 2 bytes.
Yeah.
Okay. And because we wanted to, as communication, we need to reduce. If you use 1 byte plus 2 bytes,
yeah, but you
they were
fix that by rearranging it. Oh, you 1 byte's after you, 2 bytes. So you get the line.
you need to use an attributed packet,
Yeah.
right? But the attributed packet, we found that it's a very interesting issue that we write things in, but cannot read it out. Like for example, if you write this at 5,
Right.
after you read, it's not 5. Very strange issue. And we summarize all of the in wiki. I can point it to you later. Okay. We did find many of this kind of hard lessons, as well as many high-level system issues like RS, the airflow. Anyway, I will not get into that detail. Here is showing the signals we received October 10, 2009. This is a very small earthquake, magnitude 1. This earthquake typically, human cannot feel it. You know, you might have this like all the day. Okay, magnitude 1 very small events, but our station also detected that. This is showing the spectrum graph. Have very good qualities, dissatisfactory. Okay. This is showing various events generated in a volcano. And the USGS scientists can identify, oh, this is a rock fall down, that is earthquake. Okay. From the shape of the signal, see, this is the earthquake, like a triangle. This is more like football. Is a they say that it's a rock falls down. Okay. We got many data. We also got a data that when a helicopter fly by, it also looks different. Okay, it's another shape. If you look at spectrum graph, you can tell the frequency is different. Okay. Okay, this part is showing because our collaborator JPL they work on Earth observation satellite, so that's their data. They detected the thermals. Okay. Here is an example showing you was asking this question. As this station was buried, the data become more intermittent. And here we're showing that at our design, we prioritize the data delivery. And you rise the priority, you almost got a continuous data back, right? Okay. And this is the whole system configuration. We put the stations inside the volcano and around the flanks. Then connected through a gateway. Then here, as a serial border, then many clients get connected to it, connected to the database, to a volcano alarm software, also designed in this project. So I already talked about it. I would say I only talked about 30% of the whole project. This is that's what my group's job. Okay. So this is the EU1 satellite to enable EU1 with ground and to command control interactions. Okay. Right. And we also found many from that research. We also found many interesting new research issues. For example, this is the snapshot of one sensor station data. You see, during some time of the day, it will become intermittent. In the evening, it's better. So basically, sometime later will become intermittent. That inspired my career proposal. I wanted to start in collaborative communication and storage. in extreme environments when the network become intermittent. Okay.
When data decreases, it's going in a minute, and you've got other sensors, are they showing the same pattern or different patterns?
Depends. Some it depends. So some stations, their location is different, so they might have they are not buried by slope, or they are related close to gateway.
So
different stations are different,
Okay.
right? But in general, we did observe the link quality. If you know RF, the receive signal strength indicator, it does show a dual pattern. Like in the evening, it's better, and in daytime, it's lower. After this later, I found it's very easy to explain if you know electrical engineering a little bit of the background. Because in the daytime, very hot, in the sunshine, very hot. So they were adding the noise. The transmission media noise level will go higher. So that's the signal strength go low.
What would happen if you put very tall antennas, but thin, to stick out in snow? Would that,
This of course will have higher is better.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, if you know it's going to be covered and you know the depth, and you get a very thin, flexible pole antenna.
Well, we actually did use that. We tried one is the antenna is probably 3 to 4 feet.
Yeah.
We tried that antenna.
No, I'm thinking 20 or 30.
Even higher.
Yeah.
Then it's an issue about what about the windy?
Yeah, but that's why I say flexible. So
Oh, I
it doesn't
see.
matter if it bends. I was at a radar site and we had a couple
okay.
of antennas that
You
were
did
very
that.
flexible. And sometimes they got buried under 18 foot or more.